Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Analisa and this is Adventures of an Art Historian. I've gotten a few comments over on my Instagram page, which shares the name of this channel, about how I got started in art history. So I thought I would make a set of videos explaining how I got into the subject, why I've decided to pursue it, and what my plans are for the future. So this is going to be part one of the story. So I have to go back quite a way. So I'm in my 30s and we're going all the way back to when I was in high school. I was 15 years old and I had to have a fine arts credits to take to graduate from high school. I do not do well at art. Like, that's just putting it frankly. I can't draw, I can't sculpt, I can't paint, I can't do anything. I lack kinesthetic abilities. Like, I have sausage fingers that just don't work very well. And I heard that you could take art history class instead of like a painting class at my high school. And I thought, well, I like history. I've always liked history. Let's give it a go. So I decided to sign up for it, and I will never forget it because it was first period. And so when you have the lights off for slides, it was a little hard. But immediately I knew I'd found the right place. The stories were just so intriguing and fascinating, and the works of art were beautiful, but I didn't know I wanted to pursue it yet. And then we got to the Italian Renaissance. And that's everybody's favorite period. It's super popular. It's like you either love the Renaissance or you love Monet and his water lilies and Impressionism. Those are kind of the two hot topics in art history when you're first getting to learn about it. And my teacher, R.I.P. Mr. Talley, the biggest influence on my life in high school, he had an old-fashioned slide projector where you actually had to put the little like Kodak slides into the projector, and it made this click, click, click noise when you would move to the next slide. And he put up an image of the Pietà by Michelangelo. Now this sculpture, which I will put on the screen next to me, changed my life. And it's funny because I'm not actually a Renaissance art historian. I'm a medieval, early Christian art historian. But I saw that sculpture and thought to myself, I can't believe a human made that. It looks as if Mary is about to stand up from holding Christ on her lap and walk towards the viewer. And I thought to myself, this is what I have to study. I have to study human achievement, how we have come so far and can make such beautiful objects. And for years, actually, the Pietà was my background on my computer because it inspired me to think, if Michelangelo can do something this great, why can't I? Why can't I be great too in the history of humanity? And I mean, that was like 15-year-old Annalisa's hubris speaking. But it really spoke to me. It really defined my adolescence of I want to be an art historian. So after that, I took more art history classes. I signed up for a 0-credit AP art history class because I wanted to take the test. That's how passionate I was about this. And my parents thought it was just a phase. And I think that's so funny because it's like some kids are goth or some kids are into this or that. No, my mom and dad thought I was into art history. And then I would just like move on and try something new for college. But I knew from the moment I saw the Pietà, like, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. And so I told my parents, I want to study art history. I want to go to college, and that's what my degree is going to be. And let me tell you, it was like I grew another head. They were not happy because I get it. It's not the most lucrative of professions. I wasn't saying I want to go to law school. I want to be a doctor. I want to be an investor. I just wanted to be an art historian. And they didn't love the idea, but also I'm very stubborn. And so I decided, I'm going to do it anyway. So I applied to colleges in my state. I'm from Washington State, and I ended up getting accepted to the University of Washington. And I went in gung-ho, signed up for art history, signed up to be a major on the first day of school. I was ready to go. Those were some of the best years of my life, being surrounded by academia, being surrounded by people that loved the same things that I did. I'm from a smaller town in Western Washington, and not a lot of people loved art history or history the way that I did. Like, I felt like I couldn't really talk to people the same way that I wanted to learn about. And finally, I was in, the quote unquote big city at the big university and found people that had the same interest as me. Now, I studied for 3 years. Turns out I had too many college credits from high school and they wanted me to leave after 3. And I thought that was very unfair because I was willing to spend more money to learn. But unfortunately, that didn't work out. but I was able to work out so that I could go to Rome for the UW Rome Art History Spring Program. So I went in the spring of 2013, and I was very excited because my honors advisor, Dr. Derpich, he was the one leading the trip. So that worked out really well because his specialty is Byzantine art, and there isn't as much in Rome, but he knew a lot about medieval art, which is why he's my advisor. And I got to see everything I had ever dreamed about. And I will put up some pictures from my trip of baby Analisa, 21 years old, in Rome. I had been there in high school, but it was a very quick, like 2 days to see the city, we're out type of thing. And so getting to spend about 4 months in the city, it changed me so much. Like, I still say that city has my heart. If I could afford to, I would move there in a heartbeat. It's a beautiful, beautiful place full of so much history. I highly recommend a trip out there if you can. And one of the most exciting moments was getting to see the reliquary box, which I wrote my whole dissertation about. And I still love this box. I will talk about it to anybody who will listen, honestly, because it's so fascinating. And my professor had me do like a little photo shoot with it, as why I'm making that funny face, because I'm like so embarrassed that it's right outside the Sistine Chapel. So people were like looking at me having a photo shoot with a box of rocks. But that's just the kind of person I am. I'm a dork. I love museums. I love seeing that. I love being that person that's just so excited to see things. And I loved living in the city, and I would walk to the Vatican every weekend. It was only about half an hour walk following the river from where our apartment was. And I would just spend hours in there because St. Peter's, it's my favorite place in the world. Ironically, I'm not Catholic. I was raised Protestant, but I love the history of the Catholic Church and the Vatican and the art and the history that is that space. And walking into St. Peter's Basilica, I've never felt more insignificant in my entire life, but not in a bad way. In a way that makes you realize that you are just one person, but you are a person. Like, you are individual, you are unique, and you can make your mark on the world. And just the gravity of the space. Like, we are all just single people who have come together to create and make this world what it is. And just thinking about how Bernini, who designed it and designed the beautiful baldacchino and many of the statues that are in the space, Michelangelo, who helped design the dome, like, they were just one person, but yet they had this major impact. And just feeling the weight of history on my shoulders, it's inspiring and it's beautiful. And just thinking that humans are capable of this, it gives you a brighter outlook on life. And that's why I love art history. So our trip wrapped up in Venice. I flew home, and 3 days later, I had the worst jet lag, graduating from the University of Washington. And that's where things kind of went off the tracks a little bit. So I will pick this up in part 2. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you for the next one.